Hi everyone. Hello. It's Nim Kolkar. I just tried doing the live about 30 seconds ago and the connectivity wasn't the greatest, so I am starting all over again. So hopefully, as always, the audio is clear. And I'm just waiting for everyone to come along. Don't forget to say hi as you come on and let me know if the audio is clear, because we are doing a super exciting topic today. If you've checked out my post this morning, you probably are aware of what we're talking about. And now, I've been doing lots of YouTube videos recently. So I've formed a bit of a pattern. I do new videos every Tuesday and every Friday. And those are quite professional ones. So the lighting has to be right and the audio has to be right and the angle has to be right. But Sunday Chats with Nim is very informal, very raw. And it's just you and I having a casual, candid chat. So, yeah, it's not the most professional of videos when I do Sunday Chats with Nim, and that's what I really like about it, because it doesn't have to be perfect, and we can have, a nice 20 minutes or 30 minutes talking about things that hopefully make the world a better place. Hi Poonam, hi Tejas, hi Richa, and Richa has said audio is perfect, so that is awesome. Firstly, let me wish all of you a very happy Mother's Day. Hopefully you've had a nice day so far, and maybe you've had some flowers and maybe you have some chocolates, or the best thing of all, you've had a hug or two, which is always great. So wishing you all a very happy Mother's Day. And what am I talking about today? Today I'm talking about that one friend in your circle who's only pretending to be your friend. So I'm going to share with you a couple of ways to recognize the frenemy in your inner circle. So that is the topic for today. I hope you have your nice cup of coffee or tea with you, because it's going to be fun. And I hope it is two-sided and interactive, because it is super boring staring into a camera for 20 minutes and talking by yourself. So don't forget to share your thoughts and your ideas. And I will take pauses every now and then to say hello to everyone, just so I don't break my train of thought. And if you have any questions or you have any insights related to this topic about how to recognize the frenemy in your inner circle, and I'll explain that term in a minute, don't hesitate to write. There is nothing as a wrong question or a right question. Just ask whatever you want and I'll do my best to answer while the session is live. Now, I've seen that a lot of people post their questions after the live session has ended, and unfortunately it is not possible for me to answer all those questions once I'm off the live session. So if possible, please ask me anything you want to ask me related to the topic, of course, that we're talking about today during the live session. Okay, so we're talking about that one person who is pretending to be your friend and how to recognize the frenemy in your inner circle. And please excuse me, because I'm going to be sipping my coffee every couple of minutes, because I've had a long day and I'm not even home yet, and I've just stopped along the way, and I'm doing this quick session before I go home. All right, now think about it. Think about this for a minute. If you haven't achieved most of your long-term goals yet, or if there is something you have always been wanting to do in life, something new, something different, something challenging, something bold, and you haven't got around to doing it yet, it is time for you to pause and think why that may be. Now, there may be many different reasons why you haven't managed to follow your dreams yet. Of course, it could all boil down to the fact that you yourself may not have been focused enough or disciplined enough, because of which you haven't done that thing that you've always wanted to do. Sometimes the reasons could be external. It could be your financial situation at the moment. It could be your current responsibilities that are holding you back. Of course, all these are very valid reasons why we don't take that leap of faith outside our comfort zone. Now, let's park all that aside for a few minutes. There is one of the biggest But the least obvious reason why so many people don't achieve their dreams is that frenemy inside their friend circle. So finally, it's time to explain this word frenemy. Let me ask you, have you heard of this term frenemy? And if you have, what do you think it means? So can I sip my coffee while you think about this? Just a small homework task. Who do you think is a frenemy, first and foremost? Anyone? I mean, it's pretty obvious, really. But who do you think is a frenemy? Okay, so while you're typing, a frenemy is really a combination of two words, friend and enemy. It is an enemy who is masquerading as a friend. It is that person who is outwardly showing you that they are your friend, but inwardly they are hoping that you will fail. Tejas says, enemy who pretends to be a friend. Absolutely right, Tejas. Very, very true. It's a combination of two words, friend and enemy, right? So a frenemy has got the personality traits of both a friend and an enemy. Now, it is not compulsory that all of you who are watching this has to have a frenemy in your inner circle. So don't start imagining and giving people characteristics. I'm not saying that it is compulsory. Everyone has someone like that in their inner circle. But chances are you do, and you haven't figured out how to recognize them. And the day you do, it is liberating. And I'm going to share that with you in today's session. Okay? So like I said, a frenemy is secretly hoping that you will fail. Poonam has something to say here. Poonam says, I haven't heard as such, but it means some close friend who is not happy to see you grow. Absolutely right, Poonam, hit the nail on the head. That is a fantastic definition of a frenemy. Okay, now I am someone who is a huge believer in a quality inner circle. So remember these words, quality inner circle, because the people that you hang out with, the people that you spend maximum time with, they will determine how you see the world. They will determine how you think. They will determine which things you think are possible for you to do and which things you will brush off as impossible, because they teach you to think like them. And that has a huge negative impact on how far you go. Think about it. Many of us have had friends for the same friends for the last 20, 30 years. And we never really stop to think who exactly we're spending so much time with, right? Just willy-nilly, we're spending time with people every weekend. We go out for outings. We've just got used to having them in our friends circle. But we don't ever stop and become aware of whether or not they are holding us back. And today is all about that, right? I personally, a long time ago, recognized my frenemies. It was very important to me that I should recognize my frenemies because I did not want them to stop me from achieving the things that really, really mattered to me in my life. Let me just quickly read what people have written. So Richa says, someone who pretends to be your friend but does not have good intentions for you and feels jealous when you succeed. Absolutely right, Richa. Very true. And I'm going to scroll back up and say all my hellos as well. So Sylvia Auntie says hi, and hi from Goa, Pelham Village. And Poonam says it's crystal clear, and Harshada says hi. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us here. We're talking about the frenemy, the person who is pretending to be your friend but does not have your best interests at heart. Okay, so today I'm going to give you 2 strategies to recognize this so-called friend in your inner circle who's possibly holding you back. Okay, but before we start, I want you to write this down if you have a paper and pen, or just memorize it, or just remember it. Okay, what I'm going to tell you is frenemies leave clues everywhere and all the time. Frenemies are always leaving clues. Now, the reason you have not noticed this for so long is because you're probably not paying attention, right? You start confiding in this one person, or you start becoming closer to this one person who you think has your best interests at heart, and they don't. And then one fine day, when you see their true colors, you are suddenly feeling betrayed and you're feeling shocked. And then you withdraw into yourself, you go into your shell, and you lose complete faith in that word friendship. And you wonder whether you will ever start trusting anyone else ever again. Now, I'm sure many of you watching this may have been at some point betrayed by a so-called friend. Is that the case? Is anyone there who at some point in their lives felt like they were betrayed by someone that they considered a good friend? Anyone? I mean, you don't have to tell me the whole story, but you can always just say yes or no, whatever, that kind of stuff. I think many of us have, right? At some point we've trusted someone, thought they were a good friend, and maybe sometimes they've stabbed us in the back, or whatever the case may be. And that sort of leaves you doubting everyone else, and then you're super terrified to form friendships ever again. So today I want to reduce that. Today I want to show you 2 different ways to recognize this so-called friend who is in your inner circle, but who doesn't really have your best interests at heart, okay? So what are the 2 clues that you have to look out for? The first characteristic of a frenemy is that whenever something good happens to you, like whenever you do well in life or you achieve an important milestone, these friends tend to downplay it, or they don't give your achievement any importance. Okay? Now, but the minute something goes terribly wrong in your life, or when you are going through a very difficult low phase in your life, suddenly they have all the interest in the world. Suddenly they want to know all the details, right? Suddenly they're very concerned. And you almost get a sense that, oh my goodness, they're actually happy that I'm suffering. You actually get that vibe from them. Now, a good friend is someone who will want to know all the details, not just when you lose, but also when you win. Whereas a frenemy, someone who's just pretending to be a friend, every time you do something big or achieve something, they don't want to know anything about it. Absolutely, they just change the topic and start talking about themselves. But the minute you're going through something dreadful, that's when they become super interested. So I'm going to give you an example, okay? Let's say you've got a promotion recently at work and you are over the moon and you're jumping from the rooftops and you're super excited and you can't wait to tell this friend of yours this fantastic good news about your promotion. So you tell them, and when you tell them, there is a moment of silence, after which there is a sort of half-hearted, lukewarm congratulations. And after that, this is the important part. I'm just giving you an example, but think about it. After that, they say something like, oh, well, you know, it's easy for you to get promoted because you have your in-laws living with you. So you have people who look after your kids, which means you can focus on your career. Whereas poor old me, you know, I'm managing everything by myself and I don't have time to focus on my career. Or I'll say it in Hindi. Okay, I've heard this said many times in many different circles. Something like, तेरे को तो आसान है ना, तेरे in-laws तेरे साथ रहते हैं, इसलिए वो बच्चों को संभाल सकते हैं, इसलिए तू प्रमोशन के पीछे भाग सकती है. मैं तो सिर्फ अकेले संभाल रही हूँ. अगर मैं अपने करियर पे फोकस करूँगी तो घर का ध्यान कौन देगा? Yeah, ever heard some version of that? So what happens when you hear something like that? What do you feel? You feel super dejected. You feel crappy. You want to throw that promotion out of the window and you're super sad. And you've probably suddenly seen a side of them that you didn't know existed. Okay, and then what do? You put on repeat mode that famous Bollywood song from Sangam. Which one? Dost dost na raha, pyar pyar na raha. For those of you who don't speak Hindi or don't understand, basically it's a famous Bollywood song from the 1960s, 70s, which basically says, a friend who is no longer a friend. But trust me, it sounds a lot more dramatic when it is sung in Hindi, and it doesn't quite have the same impact in English. So that is the first clue that a frenemy is going to leave for you, okay? Every time you do something big, they come up with all sorts of reasons why it is easy for you. Okay, they just tend to downplay your achievement. They make it sound like it's nothing great and that you were just plain lucky to be able to achieve that. Now, this is where the alarm bells need to start ringing. If you have a friend who does this, the alarm bells need to start ringing. Because if it was a true friend and you told them you got promoted, that friend would be laughing out of sheer joy. That friend would be hugging you. That friend would be coming up with 10 different reasons why you are the best person to get that promotion. Okay, so if you have someone like that in your circle who every time you do something big, they come up and tell you, oh, well, you know, it's easy for you, it's difficult for me. I think you need to start thinking about whether or not that person is your true friend. So I'm just going to take a quick pause. What do you have to say about the points that I just shared? So I can see Deepika, Poonam and Khushbu have said yes, that they are familiar with situations where, you know, people have let their friends down. And I think most of us are in that boat. Does anyone want to have to share any insights about this first thing that I just told you about characteristics and personality traits of a frenemy? And welcome to those who've just joined in. Today we're talking about how to recognize the frenemy in your inner circle, which is the friend who is just pretending to be your friend, but is probably closer to being not a well-wisher for you. So that's what we're talking, how to recognize them. Does anyone have any thoughts on what I've just shared? Poonam says my volume is going low. Oh dear, I wonder why that is. Does anyone else is experiencing the same thing? Is the volume too low? Am I not too clear? I don't know. Is that better, Poonam? I haven't worn my mic today because I don't have it with me and I am in transit. So usually I do my Sunday chats from the office, but today I'm not at the office. So is the volume okay, guys? Can you hear me? Is it okay, or do you want me to speak louder? Are you able to hear me? I'm just going to wait till someone types an answer and lets me know that they can hear me all right, because otherwise there's no point continuing. All good. I can hear you clearly. Okay. Thank you so much, Richa. That makes me feel a lot better because I don't want you to miss out on any of these points that I'm going to share with you. So just to summarize, the first point is that a frenemy is always going to be someone who comes up with excuses and reasons why your stroke of good fortune is just going to be attributed to good luck. Okay, you were just lucky, therefore you got that promotion. You were just lucky, that's why you got that big break. You were just lucky and that's why you're financially free. Okay, whereas they have all the reasons why things are not looking up for them. Okay, so that's the first person. Now I have made I've taken great care to make sure that I have no one like that in my inner circle, because any of you who's familiar with my work, you know that I am constantly trying out new and different things, and I really want to be surrounded by positive people. My inner circle is made up of very, very few people. They are handpicked. I wrote an article a few days ago about how I handpicked my inner circle. Very, very protective about who is in that circle, because I know that I spend so much time with them, which means that they are going to influence how I think, how I see the world, what my relationship with fear is. Because honestly, the people you surround yourself with, if they're constantly terrified of taking leaps of faith, if they're constantly terrified of dreaming big, you, my friend, are going to learn to think like them. You are going to learn to be afraid of the same things they are afraid of. And trust me, we cannot go through our entire lives afraid. We cannot go through our entire lives worrying about what people will say about us, because people are going to say something. They say something about me all the time, I'm sure. I'm dinner time conversation for many, many, many people. Does that stop me? No. Does criticism frighten me? No. Why? Because I'm prepared to learn from criticism and move on. If the criticism is valid, if it makes sense, then of course I'm going to learn from it, because it helps me evolve into the person I'm going to be. But to be able to think like that, you need to first be surrounded by people who teach you how to have a healthier relationship with fear. If you're surrounded by people who are constantly undermining your achievements, if you're surrounded by people who are constantly saying, oh, well, you know, you made it big in life because you were lucky, and how you need to be sorry for them because they didn't have the same luck, you really need to ask yourself whether those are the right people you want to surround yourself with. Okay, because like I said, a frenemy secretly is hoping that you fail. You know, something good happens to you, they don't feel good. When something bad happens to you, they seem to get some kind of perverse pleasure in the fact that you are suffering. And a true friend doesn't think like that. A true friend feels your pain. A true friend will cry when you cry. They will not just pretend to cry. Okay, so that is a big difference. Now, like I said, I was going to share two different clues of a frenemy and how to recognize this enemy who's pretending to be your friend. The second thing, the second characteristic I want you to be aware of is that a frenemy always comes up with reasons why something that you suggest will not work. These are the people who, whenever you suggest doing something new or different or outside the box, they will tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't take that step. One of the most common examples I've heard people tell me that their friends tell them is whenever they've suggested or that they should start doing something, the friend says something like, aren't you too old to do that? Or in Hindi they'll say, ab is umar mein ye sab karegi. Yeah, like maybe you're thinking of, I don't know, starting a business, or you've got all these hopes and dreams of starting some business that you've always wanted to do, or maybe you want to study further and maybe do a PhD, or maybe you just want to take some time off and go traveling the world for 6 months, and you tell this friend and you're hoping to get some kind of encouragement, and they shoot you down by saying something ridiculous like, aren't you too old to do something like this? Almost as though after a certain age, you just can't dream. After a certain age, you just can't hope to do anything different. And I don't agree with that. Now, don't get me wrong. Okay, my inner circle will tell me, will give me critical feedback. Okay, they will tell me if they think I'm doing something wrong. But a frenemy is not that. A frenemy is someone who always sees a problem in every solution rather than the other way around. Every time you suggest something new, they have a reason why you will fail. Every time you try something new, they have a reason why you're too old for it. Too old, too young, too whatever. I don't know. They just have reasons why your idea is completely foolish. Has anyone watching this ever told a friend something only to be told, "Is umar mein ye karegi? बुढ़ापे में ये करेगी? Aren't you too old to do this?" Anyone? Anyone? I get very passionate about this topic because it's super annoying. I mean, I have lost count of the number of people who've come up to me and said, Nim, you know, I've wanted to start a business since the last 5 years. And I said, oh, that's fantastic. What kind of business do you want to start? And then they'll tell me, you know, whatever they want to start. And I say, oh, that's a great idea. Well, what's stopping you? And then they'll say something like, oh no, मैंने 3-4 दोस्तों को बता दिया. I told few friends and they said to me, I'm too old to do this. Or they told me, no, this idea has been already taken. It's already been tried by so many people and all that stuff. And so I've given up. Hello? You've given up because your friend said it's a stupid idea? I mean, come on. Like, people will tell you lots of things, right? But you owe it to yourself to at least find out. I'm not saying they're wrong. Maybe they're right, and maybe it is a terrible idea. But you need to find that out for yourself now. Why are you taking their word? That's the bit that confuses me. I mean, When I come up with a new idea and someone tells me, that's a ridiculous idea, don't even bother. I say, well, I respect your opinion and I'm sure that there is some truth in it. But you know what? I won't be able to rest easy until I at least give it a shot. And trust me, my friends, more than 80 to 90% of the time, I'm glad I took that leap of faith, because we're all different. Just because someone else thinks an idea is impossible doesn't mean that you are not going to make it possible. Okay, and that's why I'm super passionate about this, because I think way too many people are giving up on things because somebody in their inner circle is constantly shooting down that idea. Okay, so I want you to promise me one thing. If not anything else, just promise me one thing. Next time you have what you think is a brilliant idea, whether it is starting a business, whether it is studying further, whether it is going for your PhD, whether it is, I don't know, following your dreams, whether it's starting a side hustle, give it a go. I started a side hustle when I was working full-time. Both my books, my first book and my second book, were written while I was working full-time in pharmaceutical sales. Okay, that was my side hustle. And of course, there were some people who thought I was crazy to do it, right? When I decided to give up corporate and follow my dreams of being a speaker and a full-time author, there were some people who said, Nim, are you crazy? You're giving up a steady paycheck that comes into your account every fortnight. What are you giving it up for? You're risking everything. I appreciated the fact that they probably had my best interest at heart. They were probably hoping that I don't do something foolish. But I also owed it to myself to find out, okay? Because if I'm going to fail, then I don't have to take someone else's word for it. I need to first find out if it is true. Because what if you succeed? In anything in life, there's a 50% chance you'll fail, of course. And there are going to be all those people who are going to tell you why you'll fail. But if you have one good reason why you think you will succeed, then my friend, you owe it to yourself to go out and give it a go. Because if you fail, you can at least look back and say, I tried. And I found out for myself. You just have to be brave enough, I'm afraid. I mean, you just can't go through life terrified. You just can't. Ask people opinions, but there's something called asking too many opinions, right? If you ask too many people whether they think you should go ahead, of course they're going to tell you no. Why? Because they themselves are never going to have that courage to do it. They are probably terrified of doing that, and that's why they're stopping you. But you're a different person. You are made up of different stuff. Maybe you have the courage that they don't. Hannah, true? So I suggest go back, dust off all those old dreams of yours that people have stopped you from pursuing over the last few months, years, or whatever it is. If you've given up on something because some friend of yours told you, you're too old, the time is gone, you should have done this 10 years ago. Trust me, the time hasn't gone. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Okay, so give it a go. If you fail, so be it. At least you're happy that you tried. Okay, let me just read what Poonam has said. I'm into clothes. I have my boutique. I have a friend who always makes me hear that her hubby doesn't like her working, and she shows off that she is more lucky to be a housewife, especially when I have done well in my exhibitions. Poonam, thank you for sharing that story, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers will have had similar experiences where, so what basically Poonam has said is that she tried to start a business and she has a friend who says that she is so lucky to be a homemaker or a housewife, and she doesn't have to probably work and things like that. Now, what I want to point out to you is people will often say these things because they just want to protect their own insecurities. Okay. When I was doing a lot of things in life, a lot of people said, oh, it's easy for you because of this, it's easy for you because of that. Trust me, when you try to do something outside your comfort zone, it is not easy. Maybe you'll make it look easy, but it is not easy. So Poonam, you will meet a lot of friends who will try to make you feel bad about your achievements. See, that is the sign, I think, of a frenemy. A person who makes you feel crappy about your achievements. If you get a promotion, they make you feel like, oh, you only got it because, you were lucky. And then you feel like throwing that promotion out of the window. You'll meet lots of people like that. I certainly have. I don't let them stop them. I don't let them stop me. Why? Because I recognize that when they say that, it only defines who they are. It is only showing their insecurities. Now, insecure people, are very good at hiding their insecurities, right? So we can't afford to be gullible and start feeling bad about these people who are making you feel guilty about your achievements. You just need to start recognizing that they are coming from a position of possibly an inferiority complex, possibly, you know what, they are maybe even hoping that they had the courage to do what you're doing, but because they don't, they now want to make you feel as though you're doing something terrible. So don't worry about self-doubt and all that. We have enough self-doubt in ourselves without friends adding to it as well. Every time you feel self-doubt creeping in, tell yourself whether or not you will feel sorry at the end of your life that you did not attempt this. Okay, you don't want to wake up one morning 20 years down the track, look back and say, I shouldn't have listened to that friend way back in 2019. I should have followed my heart. You don't want to think that, okay? So promise me that take everyone's advice if you must, but also learn to trust your own gut instinct. If there is something you've always wanted to do, go out, try it. If you fail, at least you know that you tried. Now, a real friend is someone who will tell you what the possible obstacles are in your path, but they'll say, you know what, if you do decide to go ahead, I'm with you every step of the way. That is a true friend who will point out to you all the areas where you may fail, but they also back you up by saying, but if you do, I'll be there to pick you up. So that is a true friend. So I want you to start recognizing the frenemies in your inner circle. You don't have to have 50,000 friends. You really need to have a few who think big. They don't have to think big themselves, but they should not stop you from dreaming big. Okay, I'm not saying that everyone in my inner circle is constantly trying to do something outside the comfort zone or constantly trying to take big leaps of faith. But the good thing is they don't stop me from taking big leaps of faith. That is important. Oh, I'm emotionally exhausted after doing all this, because again, it's a topic that has troubled me for a long time. I meet so many people all the time, wherever I go, who tell me, Nim, I want to do this and I want to do that, but people around me have stopped me from doing that. Let's not get into the victim mindset, right? We are all people who are capable of carving our own destinies. We just have to have the courage to make mistakes. I've made lots of mistakes. The good thing about mistakes is it helps you learn. It helps you become a better person. So, what is the time? I have gone way overboard. Wow. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this. Now, for those of you who are new to me, I post videos on YouTube twice a week. Every Tuesday and every Friday. Tuesday are my videos about communication skills, so I help you have better conversations in your day-to-day interactions. And Friday are videos to help you build your self-confidence and your self-worth. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, first of all, why not? Because it's such a fantastic channel and I have such good value being offered out there. So please subscribe, okay? Because I love seeing the subscriber count go up. It's such fun. And it's nice to feel loved, and it's nice to feel that I'm making some kind of difference in your lives. Okay, so Sunday Chats with Nim is my Facebook Live. I come on live every 2 weeks. I'll next see you in a live session in 2 weeks' time. Until then, I'm going to see you next on Tuesday, and I'm going to bring you a fantastic video with a communication tip. So enjoy the rest of the day, my friends. I love you all. Mwah. And I will be doing multilingual videos from now on as well. So 3 languages, separate videos, English, of course, and Hindi, and then my native language, Marathi. So looking forward to all that. I don't promise that the Hindi and Marathi videos will be grammatically correct, but please forgive me. And I'll see you soon. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.